Now let's talk about end-of-life planning. End-of-life planning is thinking through and writing down what you wish to happen when you die. I think this is one of the most thoughtful actions you can take for the people you love. Unless someone dies suddenly, the end of life is often a process, and one that can involve scores of heart-wrenching and difficult decisions. Planning ahead makes sense for us all, and I think this is so much better done when death is not imminent. Loved ones, relatives, friends want to honor your wishes and legacy. End-of-life planning also means thinking and talking about how you wish to be cared for in the final months of your life. So you might ask, well, why do planning now? Why not wait? If you wait until you're sick, mentally impaired, or you die without plans in place, your wishes might not be honored. Making those decisions now while you have a clear mind puts your mind at ease and reassures those who care about you. By planning ahead, you can also make any financial, legal, and practical decisions following your illness and death, and that will make it so much easier for your family to handle. I want to thank Teresa Henke for her thoughtful help. She shared many of her own ideas and templates. There are so many checklists that you can find when you are attempting to put your affairs in order to make things easier for your loved ones. Some of the best and most comprehensive that I have found are by an organization called Cake. I have linked their checklist in your workbook, and we will talk about it in this lesson. The founders at Cake believe that end-of-life planning is all about honoring life, and they chose the name Cake in the spirit of celebrating life's milestones and to highlight that planning is a gift to yourself and to your loved ones. They strive to help people create a plan for a meaningful ending so that they can live their best life, and their values are empathy, integrity, and positive impact. The Cake end-of-life planning checklist includes many items, and I have augmented them with some other research that I have done. Rich and I used an estate attorney for our wills, trusts, and advanced directives, but Cake actually offers some templates if you want to put some things in place before you have a chance to work with an estate attorney. I have now started the relevant steps in this process as a part of walking the talk and making sure that the course is comprehensive and to understand just how difficult it is to put all of this in place. Some parts of the checklist are about how you wish to be remembered, filling out documents, making sure they're notarized if necessary, and then uploading them either at a secure digital site or on a flash drive that is encrypted. I'll break down each step in greater detail now. So first comes the ones that seem pretty obvious: healthcare and medical items. Rich and I did this with our estate attorney, but Cake offers free advanced directive forms for each state in the United States. You complete them, and then you can actually upload them to their profile. Rich's and mine are with our estate attorney, but they are also now in a binder, which I will show you soon, and they are on an encrypted flash drive. So the first one is the healthcare power of attorney. When you use the healthcare power of attorney, you name a trusted person to make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you are mentally incapacitated and unable to do it for yourself. The second one is a living will. A living will is a legal document that tells others what your choices are about end-of-life medical treatment. A living will is sometimes included in the healthcare power of attorney documents, but if it isn't, you can make sure to add it. It specifies procedures or medications you want or don't want to prolong your life if you can't speak for yourself. Next is designation of a guardian. Some advanced directives include a place to designate a guardian should you become incapacitated. Most people will appoint their healthcare power of attorney as the same person that they want as their legal guardian. That's what Rich and I did. However, you might decide that you wish your guardian to be someone other than your healthcare power of attorney. Every part of the end-of-life planning process requires some consideration. The next one is organ and tissue donation. Organ and tissue donation are different. There's no waiting list for most tissue transplants, and the tissues are available when someone needs them. Donated organs have to be transplanted within hours of death. Tissue donations can be preserved and transplanted for up to 5 years, so you can decide to do just one or both. Basic medical information is sometimes forgotten in end-of-life planning, but having the information available to your designated power of attorney makes their job easier and facilitates your wishes. So in this, just include current medications, insurance, healthcare, providers' names, contact information, and all of your current diagnoses. Next is financial and legal items. If you have designated financial resources for long-term healthcare needs, it's good to outline what they are and how they can be accessed for any loved ones who will be assisting you. Now let's talk about durable financial power of attorney. When you're planning for end-of-life issues, most people want to make their own medical, legal, and financial decisions. For financial matters, a durable financial power of attorney is the most important resource to have in your estate planning documents. It's a legal document that gives you current decision-making authority, but ensuring that the management of your financial affairs will be taken care of if you become incapacitated. So with a financial power of attorney, you authorize someone else to make your financial decisions or to handle specific financial matters for you. If you want your agent of your power of attorney to continue to exercise financial authority over your estate after you die, then you appoint your agent as the executor of your estate in your will. So let's talk about wills and trusts. Planning for all of your end-of-life needs might seem a little overwhelming because there's a legal document for almost every issue. However, there are two legal documents that every person should consider regardless of their circumstances, and these are a last will and testament and a living trust. And if you want to learn more about these, you can look at the link in your workbook. Now let's talk about the location of documents. So when you die or you are incapacitated, your legal and financial issues become your family's issues. If you prepare ahead of time, you can rely on your loved ones to handle your affairs, make financial decisions, and settle your estate when that becomes necessary. To do this, your loved ones need to know all the information that's available in the documents that we've talked about. With these documents in place, they can easily carry out your wishes and settle your affairs in a way that fulfills your end-of-life plan. I have put all of our documents into a binder, and I've also loaded them onto an encrypted flash drive. The main reason to encrypt a flash drive is to prevent unauthorized users from viewing the data that's stored on it. If your flash drive gets lost or stolen, anybody could pop it into a USB port and view the data stored on it. So because it contains banking and other critical information, you definitely want to secure your data. So similar to your end-of-life legal documents, you will want your agent and loved ones to have the contact information for any external experts or professionals that are responsible for providing care of advice, like your doctor, attorney, estate planner, accountant, any trustee of the trust, a veterinarian of any pets. And you will also want to leave instructions about your digital legacy items. In our modern age, much of our lives are online, so if you've ever tried to settle someone else's affairs, you will appreciate how much your agent and loved ones will appreciate knowing your email accounts, your passwords, how to access your photos and your files, how to get into your social media accounts. If you have any digital assets like cryptocurrency, then you will need to include how to access your accounts, what is worth money, and how to proceed. You should get into the habit of creating a digital inventory regularly. It's a comprehensive list of accounts, profiles, and digital assets. Not only is it helpful for friends and family, but it's a great way to check for yourself whether there are unused accounts that you need to close or shut down. And then let's talk about legacy items. So many of us tend to think about what kinds of messages or values that you want to leave to others. So you can choose how you want to be remembered. Similar to an ethical will, your legacy items can be the ways you want messages shared, your stories, your life lessons, and so on. You could decide to request a physical marker. It's any real life object that honors your memory, like a headstone, a tree planted in your honor, or a bench in your favorite park. You will also want to leave behind some valuable messages or stories. Messages to pass on can be a meaningful exercise in figuring out what has meant the most to you throughout your life. The experiences and the values you want to leave can be very helpful for your family as they honor you. This could be as simple as writing letters to your loved ones, making a memorial scrapbook, or sharing a list of your favorite quotes. You can leave some of your defining characteristics. Everybody has a different impression of themselves and what makes each individual unique. What do you want your family to remember about you? It could be your sense of humor, your cookie recipe. It could be a career milestone. Think about your characteristics, your roles, your achievements, and the stories that make you special. You might have some death anniversary wishes if you want your loved ones to honor your death anniversary. It's worth listing a few ways that you'd like them to do that. You can include things like have them visit your favorite city, enjoy a special meal, light a candle, or toast in your honor, or you can leave it open to interpretation and let them decide. You can write your own obituary. I just did that, and it can be helpful for both you and your loved ones, as your obituary or death notice doesn't need to be written after death. It can have your basic information, accomplishments, what you value the most, and you can tell your own story. I found this to be remarkably easy to do, and yet I remember how I struggled to write obituaries for my loved ones who have passed, wondering what they wanted remembered about themselves. I feel good that I tackled this task for the ones who will handle things after I go. In terms of funeral items, deciding on your end-of-life plans related to your final wishes is sometimes the most difficult. It can be intimidating if you've never thought about these questions before, but it's essential to consider what's important to you. In terms of funeral details, not all funerals have to be sad or dreary where everybody's dressed in black. In fact, you may opt, like I did, not to have a funeral at all. If you want your family to celebrate you in a different way, write it down. This can be related to readings or food and drink or dress code, and you can list the type of celebration or funeral or service you would prefer, whether it's traditional or a celebration of life. It's a chance to leave a final impression for your family. And then, of course, is the important decision about burial, cremation, or donation. If you have ever had to make this decision for someone else that you loved, you'll realize that this is one of the most important questions to answer for your loved ones. Would you like a traditional burial, cremation, or a green burial, or to donate your body to science? There are lots of different alternatives, so give some thought as to what you would like to have happen. And then consider what kind of casket or urn you'd like to be placed in. This is your final resting place, so it should have some meaning to you. While you might not choose a specific product, consider different options so that your family knows your preference. And then in terms of gifts, traditionally people give flowers as funeral gifts, but they might not be what you wish to have at your memorial service. Instead, you could request gifts to your family, donations to a special cause, or anything else that you find meaningful. Just consider the role of your family in the planning and go from there. And you will want to outline the location for your funeral or celebration of life, as whether it's a church or somewhere more personal. Depending on how you want your loved ones to honor you, they could have a funeral, they could have something at the family home, a favorite restaurant, outdoors, or anywhere else that fits their needs and your desires. And your venue of choice will also affect the budget. You can also identify the funeral mood or celebration of life mood. It doesn't have to be about grief and somber occasions. You can request that it be anything other than somber. You can ask for a celebration of life that includes food and champagne. Just talk to your family and reflect on how you would like to be remembered on this important day. You can also choose if there's someone that you would like to plan your service or say final remarks or be a part of this day, someone you would like to speak. Maybe a trusted relative, a friend, a partner, a religious leader. Having an idea for who you would like to be involved really helps your family and friends when the time does come. And then if you have prepaid for any of your funeral, celebration of life, burial expenses, you can let your loved ones know that, or if you have set the money aside. And then when you notarize and you complete your end-of-life plan, you'll need to find a place to store it securely. As we talked about, you can leave it with your attorney, you can encrypt everything on a flash drive, or you can set up a free Cake account and upload your documents there. And then sit down with your designated agent and your trusted loved ones and go through the information with them. Your plan is something to begin now and then continue to revise throughout life as your situation changes and grows with your lifestyle. I think it will really pay off to be better prepared as you move forward. If you are like me, you will really feel a sense of accomplishment when this is started, and you may inspire other people to take control and make their own plans as well.